Do you have a website? Do you have a website that you had someone build for you and you've had the attitude of build it and then just kind of forget it, set it and forget it? I'm Christine Rothdeutsch and I'm tech expert for solopreneurs. Some people call me their strategic partner. I help the entrepreneur to work through all the technical things to keep you online. And today I want to talk about your website. Your WordPress website, that is, I'm really focusing on today. And this is something that I'm seeing coming up all too often. You decide, oh, I need a website, so you decide on the URL. That's the first step. And you rush to buy that URL from whichever location. Maybe it's GoDaddy, very popular, Namecheap, any of the other hosting companies, Bluehost, HostGator, whatever. You're not thinking at the moment of, of the next step. You're just like, I need to get that URL, right? Not really thinking about that next step. So you grab it, and a lot of times maybe time goes by. And then you say, oh, I got to get this website going. So you find someone that's going to help you build it, a website developer, and they tell you, okay, this is what you need to give me. Here's all the particulars and everything. But they do recommend that you host the website somewhere else other than where you purchased the domain. And this is a very good recommendation, because what happens is if you keep everything in the same place, if your website gets hacked and you don't have access to it, you can't, it's very difficult to work around that quickly. If you're hosting the domain in, say, location A, and you host the website in location B and you get hacked, you still have access to your domain, so you can rebuild quickly on another hosting site. But if it's all in one place, it's going to take longer to work through that, to either get the access back to your account, or rebuild. Okay, so it is recommended to keep your domain on one account and the host on another. And if your web developer is setting this all up for you, that's great. But this is for you really if the developer say, okay, now go in and purchase this. Okay, go in and open this account. Okay. So you have your domain. The developer has access, and you have to link those two accounts. That's the thing. You have to link from where you purchased the domain to where you're hosting it, so that they can actually build over here on location B. And hopefully your web developer will do that. So you have those two things. And then the next thing is you're saying, well, but I need an email address. And I highly recommend using an email address associated with your domain, and not a Gmail address for your business or Yahoo or whatever. You really need that business email address associated with your domain. So they say, okay, now you have to set up an email address, and you go back to where you purchased your domain from, and okay, I'm going to set up this email address. But a lot of times you might encounter a problem that there are more steps to get that email address working, because you linked over to this other hosting account. Now, what you might really just look into is, instead of, and again, keeping these things in different locations is absolutely the best. But if you're crunched for time, if you want to keep things simpler, then open your email address where the website is. So let's say you went to GoDaddy and purchased your domain. Okay, you have that over here. Then you could come over to something like Bluehost or HostGator to build your website. I say you open your email address over here on the HostGator or Bluehost or wherever you're hosting the website. Because if you do it over here on location A, there's more steps involved in getting that email address to work. I seen this with clients, and then I'm trying to work through like, well, why isn't this email address working? Now, I am not the expert in all of this. This is just what I see happening for my clients. So these are my recommendations. If you have a website developer, I encourage you to ask these questions instead of just following through of, okay, they told me to go here and do this, go here and do that. No, you want to know how you have access to each one of these pieces of your whole website. You got your domain, you got your website, you got your email address, and you need to understand how you can access these things. Make sure before you have your final walkthrough of your website that you understand every piece of the puzzle, rather than you're got it all built out and then afterwards you're like, how do I get access to that? Where is this? And again, like with passwords and whatnot, make sure you understand all the passwords, because sometimes your web developer might be setting these things up for you. And again, make sure it's your account, not theirs. You want total access to everything. It's all in your name, your accounts. Um, and make sure you know the passwords definitely, so that in the future when you have someone like me going in to make little changes for you or posting a blog to your website or whatever, that we're not running around trying to figure out, oh no, wait a minute, what was that address again? What was the login? Um, does that email address really work? So you're purchasing your domain in location A, building your website in location B, and I highly recommend to keep your email address with that location B. It's just going to work a lot easier for you. Okay, so, and if you already have your website built and you haven't looked at these things in a while, check it out. Okay. My next video is going to be on security. Things that you should be doing on a regular basis to make sure your website doesn't get hacked. Until next time, have a great day.